Namami Bhagavat Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagini Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaye Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om
Om
Shanti
Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabdaye Namaha.
Kataksha Kirana Chanta Naman Mohabde Namaha.
Anantananda Krishnaya
Anantananda Krishnaya
Jagan Mangala Murtaye.
Jagan Mangalamurti.
Remember, right? We were on verse 9. Which page are we on?
112.
112. 112. 112. Yeah, I remember we stopped at this paragraph and additionally the Ankara chapter. We'll read the verse first.
Shall I read?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sakshi Sarvan Vitaf Preyan
Aham naham
Naham.
kadachana.
No, we are in yeah, 9th verse, no? Yeah. Just
Yeah.
somebody else is reading it? No? Okay.
If no one else, I can read.
Please read. I'm sorry, I didn't hear it properly.
Sakshi sarvan vita priyan aham naham kadachana parinama paricheda paritapairupaplavat.
Very simple meaning is can one argue that there is no such thing other than Ahankara? There is no separate Atma which is different from all of these. One can argue that Ahankara is the end, which will imply, therefore, there are many Ahankaras. All the Ahankaras are different. To refute that kind of an argument, he says, no. Ahankara itself has three characteristics. It is Parinama, and it is Paricheda, it keeps changing, and it's limited. And it is subject to Paritapa. Upaplavat. Upaplava means it is conditioned by, afflicted by Plu Dhatu. Upaplavat. So conditioned by all these Paritapa and afflicted by the limitations and by the fact that it changes. And because this is subject to all of these, something else must be seeing the change here. And that's something, that Sakshi has to be there as the one that we're searching for. This is not possible. Very briefly, he says that. But these verses, as we've seen, they're all Manana verses. So a lot of arguments will be there, reasoning will be there, logic will be used to counter. That's why you find that each verse is, Swami also starts with this, with a possible objection by a Purva Pakshi. And then the justification for saying why that is not the correct view to take. There may in fact be 2-3 levels of arguments in these things. Purvapakshi will say something, then prove, then again he will come up with something else. Because this is meant for analysis and thinking and clearing all possible misconceptions. Good. With that background, shall we start reading from where we left off, please?
Additionally, this ahankara is not the one that you want to be. What is the one that you want to be? That also you should see here. If this is me, then I would always be happy being what I am. But it is not true. You always want to be different, and occasionally you are different. The one who is dukhi also turns into sukhi. There is a parinama, and both the locus of change and the change itself are known to you. An absence of any change also you see as a sakshi. There is a sakshi witnessing all the changes. Sakshi sarvanvitah preyan. Sarvanvitah means sarvatra anvitah. Whatever is the experience, sakshi is present. Suppose you see ghataha, ghataha spurati. If you see pataha, pataha spurati. In ghata spuranam and pata spuranam, is sakshi there or not? Sakshi is always there. In fact, the whole Jagat is Sakshi Vedya alone. We see Pratyaksha Pramana Vedya because Vishesha is there. Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, Arthapatti Pramana, Anupalabdhi Pramana. All these pramanas we talk about. But let all these pramanas bring any data. Who finally lights up all of them? Sakshi. That is why we say that everything is aparoksha alone. There is no paroksha jnanam at all. Paroksham iti aparoksha jnanam. Is it not true? What do we mean by paroksha jnanam? Whatever is not indriya pratyaksha is called paroksha. When it is not indriya pratyaksha and at the same time anumiyate, then it is called paroksham. Like Vanniman Parvatah. You see only dhuma, smoke, in the Parvata mountain. You do not see Vanni, fire at all. But then you conclude Vanniman Parvatah. The mountain has fire. That is a piece of knowledge. This piece of knowledge we call it paroksha from the standpoint of the pratyaksha. Fire is not pratyaksha because fire is not perceived directly. Therefore, we call it paroksha. But with reference to Sakshi Chaitanya, that paroksha jnanam, that cognitive pratyaya, which is there in your antakarana, that cognition, is it paroksha or aparoksha? Aparoksha. It is also aparoksha. Therefore, any kind of knowledge is Sakshi Vedya alone. Everything has to go and resolve into Sakshi. Sakshi must be there for any cognition to take place, and therefore that Sakshi is Sarvanvitaha. Ghataha Spurati, Pataha Spurati, Vanniman Parvataha. In all of them, Sakshi is. And also, in Swargaha Asti iti Shraddha, the Jnanam born of Shraddha, that Swarga is there, which is called Sabda Bodha. In the Sabda Bodha
Sabda Bodha is what is known by words alone.
what? In that Shabda Bodha also, the Sakshi is very much there. Therefore, what you see, what you infer, what you presume, what you do not see, what you believe, and what is appreciated by you through an illustration, all these are illumined by one Sakshi. Therefore, any jnanam is aparoksha only. This is Satyam. When I say everything is
Wait,
aparoksha,
1 minute. Divyansh has something to say.
Swamiji, in this context, is there a difference between Sakshi and seer?
When you say seer, what are you referring to?
Like when we say the knowledge principle, like that,
Yeah.
Chaitanya.
Knowledge principle, yes. Nyapti is yes, the same, no difference, the same thing. But when we talk of a seer, a knower, a sensor in the context of the Jagat, then we're still talking about Ahankara.
No, but we know the Ahankara knower also, no?
I'm sorry?
We also are aware of the
Correct.
Ahankara knower.
That knower, that
That awareness.
Nyapti is Sakshi. Yeah.
when I say everything is aparoksha, Atma is nitya aparoksha. When does Atma come? When does it go? There is no question of its coming and going. Therefore, nitya aparoksha. When you say ghata spurati, there is chaitanya. In that, sakshi also is chaitanya, sakshyam also is chaitanya. And therefore, sarvanvitah, sarvatra anvitah. Whether it is ghataspuranam, pataspuranam, or any anumana jnanam, in all situations, chaitanya is always there. Therefore, sarvanvitah jagradadi avasthasu sarvasu anvitah sakshi. Ahankara comes, ahankara goes. Ahankara is a yo-yo. Should I read the
There's a
footnote?
footnote, but
Yo-yo
I think
means something that
everybody knows what a yo-yo is, right?
Okay.
We all played with this in childhood. So it's just that because it keeps changing, going up and down, going up and down. That's why Swamiji calls it the yo-yo effect. Sakshi is like a yo-yo, keeps changing. Yeah.
Ahankara is a yo-yo. This yo-yo, like ahankara, comes and goes. And Sakshi is seeing the whole yo-yo movements of the ahankara. The Sakshi is not affected by ahankara's paricheda, its parinama, and its paritapa. The whole thing is superimposed upon the Atma, which is Sakshi Sarvanvitaha. Ahankara is always changing. Atma is changeless. That is why you want to be that Atma. You are Ananda Swarupaha in Sushupti, but it is not known to you then. You love sleep because the Ahankara is quiet. Sakshi is Sarvanvitaha Preyan Priyatamaha Ananda Rupaha. He is the most beloved for you, not the Ahankara. The Ahankara is subject to time. You are not interested in that fellow at all. You're not interested in Ahankara because you are not that. This Ahankara dies every day. If you go to sleep, it means the Ahankara is gone. It may be there in a very sukshma form, but for all practical purposes, Ahankara is gone. The fellow who was masquerading is gone in sleep. You are not interested in that fellow at all. When you are not interested in that fellow, why do you want to set up that Ahankara as Atma? When I say Sakshi Atma is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, why are you interested in proving Ahankara is the Atma?
Okay, so far?
Quest-
Okay. Continue.
the Atma, I do not see anything else other than Ahankara. That Ahankara alone I see. I do not see anything else. Swamiji, please tell me, why do you not see anything else? Your statement was, I see only Ahankara, I do not see anything else. The Ahankara that you see is seen, and what is seen is not the Aham. Therefore, aham na aham. Nobody wants to go away from Atma. Everybody wants to be there. There is always a love to be. Aham sarvada bhuyasam ma na bhuvam bhuyasam iti. There should not be a time when I am not. I should always be. So bhuyasam, there's a footnote, Advaita
Sound is
Siddhi,
breaking up. I don't know if
Arthasya.
my download speed is gone or is
No,
everybody?
no, it is breaking up.
Oh,
Oh, is it me?
Yeah,
could be your.
Okay.
just maybe
Should I
turn off
turn
the
off the
video
video
for
and
some time.
try?
Yeah.
No, now it is okay. Now it's okay.
I think my speed is okay. I'm just checking my speed.
Now you're also
Because I hear
Reasonably good.
It is okay now.
I hear
No,
Maybe
Swamiji also breaking up.
yeah, now he was breaking. But
Okay, let's try again.
oh,
So the footnote for Bhuyasam, Advaita Siddhi, Pratamaha Parichedaha, Atha Aham Arthasya Anatmatvopapattihi.
Pati. This is a quote. Aham sarvada bhuyasam, mana bhuvam bhuyasam is a quote from Bhadaranyaka Upanishad. And in Advaita Siddhi, Madhusudana Saraswati quotes that, and he really tries something very similar, proves that the aham can never be anatma. Everything else is anatma. So it's quoted that also here, no? Because it is prathamaha parichedaha, because it is limited, therefore it cannot be aham. Atha aham arthasya anatmata upapattihi. It's not correct to talk of aham. Anything that changes cannot be aham. This is a quote from Madhusudan Saraswati's Advaita Siddhi. See, the Advaita Siddhi is also something similar. A lot of arguments, discussions, a lot of fine reasoning, that kind of thing is there in Advaita Siddhi. Maybe one of these we will do that text also. It's also a nice text. So he's taken this quote, Mana bhuvam bhuyasam, aham sarvada bhuyasam, from Vedanta Prashad. Therefore, there was not a time when I am not, I should always be. Yeah. Divyansh?
Swamiji, I need one clarification. So in this line, there is always a love to be. Aham sarvada bhuyasam. This looks more like we are talking about ahankara, right? Because ahankara does not want to like go. Atma is always is, right?
Correct. But when you say, what do you love the most?
Myself.
Myself. The self is not ahankara.
No, that is ahankara, no? That I saying myself.
That is what we're trying to say, no? That aham cannot be ahankara. That's what the whole, this particular mantra is about, the shloka is about. Ahankara, because it is limited, because it is changing, and because it's subject to paritapa.
Hmm.
Now, you don't want to love something which is subject to all of these things.
No.
You know, that I love, the ahankara is a very limited view taken from a transaction point of view only. But if you take one more step back and look at this thing, then obviously you don't want to be just that. It's like saying, you know, I get sukha from this jagat, but then therefore everybody works to try and get that sukha. But you know that's not what you really want. What you really want is something else. Something like that. That ahankara has got all these three characteristics. Parinama, Paricheda and Paritapa.
Parita.
With all these limitations, that's not really what I want. Although a lot of us start with this. Which is the misconception? Which is the error we're making? Yeah.
And if at all there is anybody who does not want to be, do you know why? Some of these old ladies will say, Venkatesha, Tirupati Venkatesha, when are you going to take me away? Please take me away. I cannot stand life the way it is anymore. This is their daily prayer. Suppose Venkatesha sends Lord Yama and he asks the lady, Amma, Lord Venkatesha has sent me to take you. Shall we go? She says, You came today itself. I just made preparations for a special meal. Tomorrow we will see. And the next day she says, My son is visiting today. I will come tomorrow. Nobody is really interested in leaving. If anybody is, it is not because they are not interested in being. This body should go away only because it gives so much pain. Atma is Preyan Priyatamaha Ananda Swarupaha, and that is what I want to be. And if I think that there is no possibility of Ananda, then I want to get rid of this Upadhi and at least get rid of Dukkha. I do not know whether I will get another Upadhi or not, but I do not care to have this body anymore. I do not see the possibility of Ananda with this body, therefore, the body is condemned. It is useless, like a decrepit old car. When the Deha becomes useless, when I do not see that it is capable of giving me any more happiness, then I condemn it. That is why one wants to put an end to it. That is because the whole commitment is in Ananda. If there is a hope to get some Ananda out of this, one tries to keep this body running. Like in India, one keeps a car as long as it can be kept running. You will keep this body going as long as you can keep it going with a spare kidney, somebody else's kidney, a monkey's kidney, whatever it is, it does not matter. Therefore, you want to keep this body going as long as you hope to make something out of it. You do not wish to die because you want to be, because the love is for eternity, to say to never say die, and for being happy. That is the nature of the Atma. That is all that is all there in the word Prayan. It is implied.
The people often argue, why do people commit suicide then if that's what you really love? What is suicide? It's only the Sharira you're giving up. And the reason you're giving up is because something is bugging you, either physically or emotionally. Ahankara can be hurt. Ahankara can be punctured. And Ahankara doesn't like that. You don't like it. Suppose somebody says, I want to commit suicide. You say to them and say, okay, what are the things that are causing a problem? He lists a whole lot of things. I don't have any money. My children don't love me. The girl I wanted to be with, she's ditched me and gone away. Whatever it is. Suppose you were able to tell him that, look, I have superpowers. I can restore all those things to you. Why would he commit suicide? What Swami established is that our problem is that we don't recognize that the nature of I is Ananda Swarupa. It is not Ananda on a scale. If you read Taittiriya Upanishad, whenever we do that, you will see how Ananda is graded in different lokas. But all of them are limited. What we are really looking for is the Swarupa of Ananda. Now we don't know. So what do? Anything which we think gives us a lesha of Ananda, a relative Ananda, we are willing to work on it. Sometimes in a dharmic way, at times even in an adharmic way. But that because of our not knowing that it is possible. If we were to, for example, if somebody were to do a lot of tapas and actually get darshan of whatever his Ishta Devata is, and Devata asks him, okay, what do you want? Look at all the Purana stories. Very intelligent people. What do they ask for? I wish to be the strongest person. Nobody should be able to kill me. Not human, not Devata, nobody able to. What kind of meaningless blessing you're asking for when you've got access to Purnatvam? Bhagavan himself, your Ishtadevata himself is appearing in front of you. You're asking for limited things. But that is the problem because we don't understand. We somehow, the fellow who thinks I should be the strongest man in the world would make him the happiest man in the world. That does not work that way. Because we don't. So you can think about what you would ask, should you by chance encounter a situation where you said you can get whatever you want, just ask. What are you going to ask for? But here, Swami is really taking the same tack. Saying nobody really wants to. Somebody wants to give up a body because there's some issues, like I said, physical or emotional or something else which is bothering them. Everybody is hurting my ego. So I don't want this now. You can ask him, who doesn't want it? You'll probably have a difficult time finding an answer to that. Yes, Divyansh.
So, Swamiji, the argument here is being made that you don't want to be limited. You don't want to be, let's say, have a limited life or something like that. And we are implying that this means that your nature is to be eternal.
You say it again?
Your nature is to be eternal.
Yes.
But this need not necessarily be, right?
Why? No, that is the only thing. Our search is for that Purnatvam. You can, even a person who is very smart doesn't ask to be the strongest man in the world, but he asks Ishvara, who he has access to, he says, I figured it out. Give me happiness. Ishvara says, sure, no problem. Between 12:45 and 12:55, you will be happy. Every day. Would that satisfy him? Or he says, every day when you're taking a shower in your bathroom, you'll be happy. No. I want to be happy, not only in my shower, but also in the other rooms in the house, in the office, on the way to the office. That's what you want. But we don't recognize this. You can go on increasing this thing. That's why I said Taitra Upanishad has a very beautiful scale of Ananda. But however much you increase, you'll still be finite. The only way you can really gain that status of Ananda Swarupa is by understanding that you are Ananda Swarupa. I just don't know. No, Shastra tells us. This whole thing is always Siddha, it is there. And yet, having got all that, it's like saying the king offers you everything. So I give you complete Rajyam. Okay? All yours to do what you want as the what do they call it? Supreme leader. Supreme leader. Yeah. And in that there are 20,000 villages You ask for all this and then say, oh, one of those villages where I was also born. Give me that village also. It is already included. Why are we asking for the limited things? Only reason we ask for that is because we don't know. Even if we can arrive at the fact that what I want is Purnatvam, infinite Ananda, I don't know how to go about getting it. Because I'm still looking at the Jagat and saying, what can I get out of the Jagat? People, situations, places, objects. I'm trying to get from there. From there, you can never get infinite. For that, to know that it is actually a fact of that you are infinite, that you are actually Ananda Swarupa, there is only one way. Study Shastra. There is no other way. Nanyat pantha ayanaya vidyate. There is no other way of finding this out. All I have to do is figure it out. And find out where I'm making the error. And with the help of the Shastra and with the help of a Guru, get to the state where I say, oh, you remember that one imagery we have sometimes talked about in the class? One fellow is floundering in the water, trying to somehow stay afloat. Haath pair maro, pair, trying somehow stay afloat. And every once in a while get a little piece of wood and say, I'll cling on to it, then that gets washed away. All little things keep coming, but till that wise man, he says, why are you flaying your hands and legs? He says, hey, I'm trying to stay afloat. See, everybody is doing the same thing. A fool, mudaha. You're not, well, you're not in water, you're standing on firm ground. Really? I'm on firm land? I don't see it. That's the only problem. And I imagine all kinds of things. Because the I itself is a wrong assumption. First you say body, mind, then you say ahankara, without recognizing that all of them, including ahankara, or because of the reasons, cannot be aham. Anything, mind cannot be aham, anything, this cannot be aham, that cannot be aham, anything which is changing cannot be aham. That is the argument we are going through. So the bird prayan, one that is lovable, all this is included in that. Will we continue?
These verses are all very terse verses, and there is a hetu in each one. This is how some books are. There is a text called Dasha Shloki with simple innocuous looking shlokas. It opens with the verse Na bhumir na toyam na tejo na vayuhu na kham nendriyam va na tesham samuhaha anaikantikatvat shushuptyeka siddhaha tadeko vasishtaha shiva kevaloham. The fourth line.
It is a beautiful 10 verses by Shankaracharya. There's a story behind it. I think this is the one that happens. After he goes looking for a guru and he finds Govindapadacharya on the banks of Narmada, the cave is still there. You can go and visit that. And he asks him to teach. He says, who are you? And he gives this 10 shlokas. Na bhumihi na toyaha. I am not the earth. I am not Panchabhutas. I am not water. I am not fire. I am not Vayu. Not the space. So all five, he says, I am none of those. Nendriyamba. Na indriyamba. I am not even any of the senses or any of the sukshmas. Navatesham samuha. Because that's again can be an argument. Say, no, it's not any one individual. Altogether is what you are. Says no. Because all of them, anekantikatvat, they are all subject to this, the same problem that we were talking about for Ankara. In sleep, I am. Shushupteka siddha. That I, that Ahankara, that Aham, Sakshi. Only thing is when you sleep, you don't know. But you are. In fact, the sleep is called prajna. And you're really what you want to be. In Samashti called Ishvara. But since my available faculties are shut, I don't know. And I have to get up the next morning because I still have karma phala to exist. If I had known in the night, then I won't have any more karma phala left. No more karma would be available. But since I don't know, karma phalas come back. Karmas and karma phalas come back. The next day, you're back again to square one. Very beautiful 10 verses. Yeah.
The fourth line in every verse is Tadeko Vashishtah Shiva Kevaloham.
Tadek
And in
tat
the third
ekaha
line of each
avashishtaha shiva kevala aham.
and in the third line of each verse there is a hetu. Because of the hetu, Madhusudana Saraswati wrote a commentary called Siddhanta Bindu, which is full of logic. It is like Naishkarmya Siddhi. There is so much logic. It is endless. And for that Siddhanta Bindu, there is one huge commentary called Gauda Brahmanandiyam. Gauda Brahmanandiyam and Siddhanta Bindu are huge works. They are nothing but logic. All because the 10 shlokas with the refrain Shivaha Kevaloham have a hetu in the third quarter. Where a hetu reasoning is there, you can expand it. A hetu can always be questioned. Because it is available for questioning, there is need for hetu siddhi, a need for establishing the given reasoning. And for hetu siddhi, you give another hetu. So, for hetu siddhi's sake, there is a hetu. So, to establish something, you give a hetu. And the hetu itself, is it siddham or asiddham? The hetu should be siddham. Therefore, if it is not siddham, again, hetu siddhaye hetuhu. It goes on like this. Here, this text, Advaita Makaranda, also has sadhya siddhaye hetuhu, then hetu siddhaye, further logic, further hetu. This can be in the form of Purva Paksha Siddhanta. Once you say Purva Paksha Siddhanta, then to the Siddhanta at each level, there is again a Purva Paksha, then again Siddhanta. Then Siddhanta has a Purva Paksha, then Siddhanta. It goes on and on like that. Though these shlokas look very simple, they have a lot of reasoning. All these shlokas are like that, purely hetu. Hetu being there, we have to understand the hetu properly. So, Sakshi Sarvanvitah Preyan Aham Naham Kadachana. The Ahankara being witnessed by me cannot be me at all. I do not have my commitment there. My commitment is to my Sukha Swarupa, which is Preyan, which is what I love.
Beautiful. Can somebody give a crisp summary of this very nice argument here?
Shall I try?
Yeah, please do.
So, in this verse, the Kavi is trying to distinguish between the two types, two ahams, one being the the reality, the Atma, and the other being the Ahankara. And to do that, he's given three characteristics for each, essentially. So for Ahankara, it's subject to change, it is limited, and it is afflicted by dukkha, etc. Whereas the Atma is sakshi. It is always there, regardless of what the situation is, and it is changeless. It is sarvanvitaha, as in all-pervading, and it is prayan or ananda swarupa. So if we are clear about the differences, then we understand that the ahankara cannot be aham, because what you see as mind cannot be atma.
Good.
Um, yeah.
Any other?
So-
Yeah, we done, or you had something else?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Anybody else want to add something what she said?
Yeah, Swamiji, just to extend from the prior verse, which talked about idam vritti, right? So this is also an idam vritti finally, because in our experience, we are clearly witnessing the aham vritti. So we are the seer, and therefore we cannot be the aham vritti, which is called ahankara. So ahankara is aham vritti, which is also actually idam vritti. Therefore, it is not the real I.
Excellent. Any other inputs?
I mean, it boils down to the understanding that our Swayam Swarupam is Ananda. So we'll have to go back to the original Swarupa of the Atma. That is where we get bliss, Ananda, whatever you want. It's unchanging, it is eternal, it is perennial, Nityam. So we need to understand that we get back to our Swayam Swarupa Lakshanam, and that is never changing. Everything else is an upadhi, is an imposition on the Atma, and which is Avarana Shakti as well as Vikshep Shakti act and then divert our attention. So we'll have to get back to the roots, as it were. Thank
you. This Swami did not like the use of the word bliss because it's so commonly used to indicate perhaps a very high level of ananda. But what we have to understand is that there is, however high the level of ananda that we experience, it is always comes, is there for a while, goes. No ananda that we know of in the world, in the Jagat, is like that which you're trying to understand the Swarupa Ananda. It is Nitya, like you mentioned. It is, you can never say it started in this day because it is not subject to time. It has no paricheda at all. It is a very Swarupa of the self. Excellent. Shall we go ahead? We've got a few more minutes. Let's continue.
Verse 10. Then a contender says this. Very interesting. When the ahankara is undergoing all these changes, does samsara belong to ahankara or sakshi? Sakshi is also very much with the ahankara. It is not elsewhere. All the samsara is attributed to ahankara. You are relieving the sakshi from any blemish, and the poor ahankara gets the blame, while the sakshi makes the ahankara possible. The ahankara itself has has no independent being according to you. The Ahankara is there because of the Sakshi Chaitanyam. That Chaitanya is the cause for this Ahankara also. The Sakshi itself makes the Ahankara do what it does. But the blame is for whom? All the blame is for Ahankara. Ahankara is a samsari and Sakshi is not a samsari. Why? Sakshi also is very much there in the Ahankara, without whom this Ahankara cannot do anything at all. Therefore, how can you say that only the Ahankara is a samsari, not Sakshi? Why this partiality? Do you have some kind of dvesha, hatred towards this Ahankara? And so you want to be the Sakshi? The Sakshi Atma is free from samsara, is wishful thinking, for which
He's raising it
this
another
is
level
said.
of argument, no? Okay, I accept this Sakshi and Ahankara. I also have understood that the Ahankara does not have an independent existence. Ahankara, like everything else, is dependent on the Sakshi, the Atma, for its existence. And you cannot separate them. You cannot separate the Atma and Sakshi. You cannot view them independently. There is no independent Ahankara. Only through understanding you can separate them. Not physically, not otherwise. You can't separate them. In that case, the argument is, why do you say that Sakshi is all the problems are the samsara, and all the samsara problems are associated with the ahankara? Why do you say that? Why don't we say that it's associated with the atma? That is why you get all the problems. Simple answer is Sakshi does not even belong to this order of reality. Ahankara and samsara belong to the same order of reality. They are both non-self-existing. Entire samsara, which you can describe as idam, and the sakshi, the ahankara, which you could extend and say aham, neither of them really exist on their own. They both require sakshi. Therefore, his argument is with that. That also is addressed. Swami just said, no, every time you give a hetu, somebody will come with an argument for you to prove that hetu. Hetu is a reasoning, a logical reasoning for something to happen. So now the hetu is now given for that argument also. Yeah.
So, for which this is said, Supte hamina drishyante dukha dosha pravrittayah atastasyaiva samsarah name samsartru sakshinah. It is not that Sakshi is released from the blemish and Ahankara is subject to all the blemish. We are not making any judgment here. We are just looking at the situation objectively. What happens when one is in deep sleep?
Can you try and understand? Can
Supte
anybody
ahami.
try and read the verse itself and simple meaning? Supte hami ahami na drishyante dukha dosha pravrittayah atah tasya eva samsarah name samsutru sakshina. All the doshas of the samsara. What happens in Sushupti? Sushupti, deep sleep. The deep sleep is a fantastic thing to understand. In deep sleep, everything is avyakta. Body is not available as avyakta. Sukshma Sharira is avyakta, except prana, which has to keep going because otherwise you won't be able to get up the next day. Ahankara is avyakta. Everything is gone. But still, the sense of I, the Atma is still there. Same thing comes up again the next day. So at that time, none of the characteristics of samsara is there. They're also all unmanifest. Sushupti ahami na drishyante dukkha dosha pravritteha. No active dukkha dosha, any kind of dosha at all. At a time when all these things are non-available or avyakta, only the I, Atma, is. At that time, there are no dosha, no dukkha, no dosha. Yes, Divyansh.
Swamiji, so is there any other experience other than deep sleep that we can maybe investigate?
No, there isn't. There isn't. Because this is the only experience where everything is shut, other than Atma, Sakshi. It becomes very useful for us to understand. Everything is shut. Nothing is vyakta.
And what about people say nirvikalp samadhi or something?
What happens in samadhi?
Like they say you are in your true self or something. I don't know, but like
We'll talk about it in the next class. But I want all of you to think about that also. What happens when you coma? What happens when you go into samadhi? When a person goes into samadhi? What is the difference between that and Shushupti? Is there a difference at all? Please do some thinking and reading if we can. Let's open it for discussions on the next class.
coma is deep sleep only, right?
I'm sorry.
Coma is like deep sleep only, no?
I'm giving you all of these, and any other options you want to take up, you're welcome to do that. We will discuss this in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Swamiji.